Well, the military and police in Burkina Faso have fired live bullets and tear gas at protesters who stormed the country's parliament and set it on fire. The city hall and the ruling party headquarters are also in flames. Protesters are angry at plans to allow President Blaise Compaoré to extend his 27-year rule. A state of emergency has been declared in Burkina Faso, and there are unconfirmed reports that about 10 people have so far been killed. Now, is this people power or just pure illegality as the country descends into political chaos? What are the implications for the ECOWAS sub-region? This is today's big story with me, Prince Mika. Welcome to the program. Now, neighboring Burkina Faso appears to be in a political chaos as angry protesters are demanding the removal of President Blaise Compaoré. Well, a huge crowd earlier surged towards the presidential palace and the main airport, which has since been shut down. MPs have suspended a vote on changing the constitution to allow Mr. Compaoré to stand for re-election next year. So far, 5 people have been killed in the protest, while unconfirmed reports suggest the number of casualties could be more than that, and for that matter, heading towards hundreds there. Now, the military had earlier fired live bullets at protesters who stormed the parliament. Other reports also say that some of the military joined the protest, including the former Defense Minister, General Kwame Log, and the main opposition leader, Ephraim Diabri, has also called on the military to side with the people. Well, Joy News has also gathered from the capital, Ouagadougou, that Togolese nationals are becoming a target as they are seen pro-Compaoré. So let's get on the phone lines and get a feel of what's happening on the ground, especially in the capital, Ouagadougou. And we'll go straight to Akichi Asen, who is there in Burkina Faso for us. Akichi, thank you very much for joining us. But can you tell us what is happening now as we speak?
Okay, now as we speak, as it's getting, we are around 6 p.m. So people are still waiting for the outcome of what happened during this morning. So I can see that the place is calm. The place is calm, and then people are just waiting for the outcome of what was the demonstration this morning, everything that went on, and they want to know if their president is still in town or if he flew out of the town of the country. So it's very confusing, this situation now.
We're picking up reports that local media have mentioned that the president obviously mentioned on his Twitter page that calm should be restored and that people should take things easy, and a state of emergency have been declared. Now, how is this coming into, how does the people of Burkina Faso really, how do they see this particular development, especially as far as the president is concerned?
Okay, as far as the president is concerned, just that the military and the opposition, and also here also France, the ambassador of France being involved in the negotiation so that they can find out how they can maybe rule the country and aside, let's say, putting aside President Blaise Compaoré. So is there some negotiation going on to see who really will come out as the leading person of the country.
And what about the opposition leaders? Well, we know for a fact that they joined the protest earlier on, but what have they been saying as calm has returned, you mentioned?
Okay, the opposition leaders, for now, they're still on the negotiation. They really joined the demonstrators. They joined the people on the ground. I think they were with them since the beginning. So they didn't want the President Compaoré to contest for the coming election. So they were making sure that their constitution will not be changed. So that is it. And now they saw the Parliament House being burnt down, and we are just waiting to see the negotiation that are going through, to see if they will give the power to a soldier or they will still have the consultation to see if it is the, let's say, the opposition and the soldier who will together lead the country for the meantime.
Now, this protest obviously have made Burkina Faso had the international attention. The international media widely reported this. What does this mean to the people of Burkina Faso? Do they feel they've done the right thing?
Okay, for them, since long time, seeing even the death of Sankara, they were not happy about it. So since long time, they were preparing, trying to do their best to restore, let's say, a legal situation whereby they have someone that they want. They didn't, since 2000, let's say 1983, they were not, 87, I mean, they were not satisfied with having their leader killed. So since then, they were preparing, doing everything possible to have everybody, so that today, that is it. October 1987, this month we are in October, is also test day. Sankara was killed in a test day. So,
and so the people see this as the right thing?
Yeah. For them, they have done the right thing.
Okay.
They have done the right thing. But we know we are in neo-colonialism, so the population can do what they can. But are they able to gain the power? Are they able to have the power? That's the problem.
But then again, the concerns about international influence, you know, how Compaoré it's been loved by France and even the United States of America. How does that come in here? Do the people see that as a threat to the people's coup d'etat, if you like, which they've had today?
Yeah. They're seeing it. Even one of my friends who is a journalist trying to draw the attention of the people that what they have done is to benefit the people of Burkina Faso, not otherwise. So they are trying also to push hard so that what is going on should benefit the people of Burkina Faso. We cannot ignore that the international, let's say, France and other people, they're also pushing hard for them to still have their ground in Africa, especially in Francophone countries. So that is it. We are still waiting and see how the opposition and other people can see how the power can come to them.
I was actually asking if the people feel that Burkina Faso need the support of the United States and France and the European Union for that matter, and don't they see the fact that these two countries, U.S., France, and even the EU, being friends with Blaise Compaoré could be one major setback to this protest they had today?
Okay, the problem is that for my side, what I'm seeing is that France is already here, you see, and USA, they want also to have their ground in this place, you know. They were the first who were telling Compaoré to, let's say, instead of having strong men ruling countries, they should have strong institutions.
Okay.
You see, so that maybe they can have access to where France is well grounded and do what they can. But France also will not allow them to really come in. So it's a fight among Westerners, but also against Burkina Faso.
Well, earlier, Asen, you mentioned to us that some Togolese nationals in Burkina Faso are becoming a target. Can you tell us exactly where they are right now and what is happening as far as protection for these
not
Togolese
that
nationals?
they're a target, but people on the street are mentioning it that there are soldiers coming to back up Blaise Compaoré, so they are from Togo, but it's not something really true. But just that is a rumor that people are spreading, and for me it's not good because we are in a situation whereby we are in West Africa, so it's better for us to be united instead of trying to spread that kind of news.
Okay, before I finally let you go, I'm just wondering, are you safe where you are? How do you feel about where you are, what's happening as we speak?
Yeah, actually, as since morning. As you are, if you stay at your place, no problem. There's no problem. So for now, I'm safe where I am, and there's no problem.
Asen, thank you very much for talking to us here on today's big story.
Thank you too.
Absolutely. Asen Akichi is he's actually a resident in Ouagadougou in Burkina Faso. And we can now go on with the discussion. We're joined by Dr. Opoku-Edu. He's a political science lecturer at the University of Ghana. Doc, what does this mean for the sub-region?
Well, a lot. I know. I think it's an indication that leaders in the sub-region will not have the opportunity to extend their stay when it's unconstitutional. So I think that leaders in the sub-region will be taking note. What has happened is very phenomenal. You recall that in the case of, say, Ukraine, the revolution took about 4 months to gather momentum. In Egypt, it took about 3 weeks. But in Burkina Faso, it took just 3 days. And we've seen how the people are demonstrating fearlessly on the streets of Ouagadougou and so on. So it gives a clear message that we are done with the times when people could stay in power and squat on everybody when even it was illegitimate to do so.
Now, we already know about Mr. Compare's relations with the United States and as well as France and of course, the European Union. Now, how does that come to play here, knowing very well that these countries and union that I spoke of had earlier given Mr. Compare some warning about this particular clause he wanted changed in the Constitution, hence extending his stay in office?
Yeah, I think this Compare misjudged the mood of his people. And this is a tide that no one can stop. You know, for a very long time, the opposition has lacked one thing. It has lacked what would really unite them and spur people on, to act. And what this company has done by this move has been to supply the opposition with what it lacked, to give them something that around which they could mobilize, and they are doing so. I think the rest of the world is watching very carefully. I understand the UN is General Secretary is sending his rep there at the moment, and I also understand his brother attempted to escape and was arrested at the airport, and some sections of the military have been planning a takeover and so on and so forth. So I think he brought it upon himself. In the last 27 years that he's governing the country, he's monopolized power, and he has use violence to brutalize sections of the peoples of Burkina Faso who may even want to oppose him peacefully. And so I think he has brought it upon himself. The country has reached a point of no return, and he cannot continue with that program.
And I'm just wondering if he couldn't have read this before this situation. But let me put that question to Dr. Ken Ahos, who also joins us on the line. He's with the Legon Center for International Affairs and Diplomacy. Doc, thank you very much for joining us. So couldn't Mr. Compare have read the signs on the wall that, look, trying to change a clause in the Constitution would rather trigger this form of agitation, which we're seeing on the streets of Ouagadougou today?
Yeah, what I would say is this is not new, and it's very common with the Francophone country. If you think what has happened in Ivory Coast so far, what's happened in Togo, what's happened in Gabon, what has happened under Mobutu Seko, rulership in Francophone countries often looks like it's a dynasty, a family dynasty. We have seen a specter of this in Nigeria when Obasanjo was about to leave power, when the idea came up that they should make an extension of the Constitution should be changed. I think Blaise Compaoré is saying that there is a provision in the Constitution, but as you rightly pointed out, the question is that after 27 years of ruling a country, and a country still wallowing in poverty, a very high cost of living, what is new that is going to offer the people? And what has happened is that in the last 2 years, the opposition has moved away from a pitched fight opposition to a very bold and a vocal one. And particularly civil society, it has been the power brokers or those that have offered some form of help to the people who are largely unemployed, especially the young. And what has happened is that the young have reached a no point of return, and they are just demanding that he step down. But for me, what is worrying is the violence, the burning down of Parliament House, the burning down of TV stations, burning down of MP. Burkina Faso is already a very poor country, and whoever takes over reign from him would have to rebuild all these things at a very huge cost. I think that we're the right path. ECOWAS has been approximately very silent, because Blaise Compaoré is one of the elders and has been revered as such in every ECOWAS meeting. The AU has come on belatedly, though, saying that the will of the people must be respected, the constitution must be respected.
Let me have you go back to ECOWAS, and you mentioned the burning of Parliament and of course the chaos that we saw earlier on. Really, you think it is an illegality that must be condemned by the ECOWAS?
Yeah, the supplementary protocol on conflict and prevention, particularly good governance protocol, makes it clear that constitution should not be arbitrarily changed. So I was expecting ECOWAS to come out strongly and condemn the plan that, but as I have said,
Doc, what should ECOWAS condemn? What should ECOWAS condemn? The act by the angry people, or the fact that Blaise Compaoré has been there this long?
They should condemn the design by Blaise Compaoré as to change the constitution. That amounts to that constitutional change of government. So what they have to condemn is Blaise Compaoré.
But what about the burning of Parliament and this chaos that we're seeing on our screens now?
You see, there is something that happened. They said that those who prevent a peaceful revolution or peaceful change cannot prevent a violent change. And it is such that the youth, the exuberant youth who are being without jobs, who cannot afford to take out a living, it gets to a point simply that the language that Burkina Faso military or government knows is violent. So I think they are just being paid back in their own coin. But you see, the Ivorian crisis, Blaise Compaoré has transferred himself from what would I call it, a pariah leader to something like an international statesman. The United States of America is very worried about what is happening in Burkina Faso, because it is that country that is used largely in their anti-terror campaign. So it becomes a major problem, and they don't know how exactly to handle this. So I think that what we have to do is for the international community, the regional organizations, and the rest to come in and kind of stabilize the situation. And what I am calling for is that they should press upon Blaise Compaoré to leave power. And if there is any reason why he should be called to account for his rulership.
Very well. We don't know where Blaise Compaoré is now, but Dr. Opokwedu and Dr. Kena also.
He's still in Burkina Faso. About 2 hours ago, he held a national, a national statement, a broadcast, and called on the people that he's declaring emergency and calling on them that he's still in control and that he would like to speak to the opposition. So there should not be any form of violence. So Blaise Compaoré is not outside Burkina Faso, but he's still in Burkina Faso.
Now, gentlemen, I want you to listen to Blaise Compaoré. This was his posturing ahead of this particular day, and this is how he argued as far as the constitutional amendment he was calling for is concerned. Listen.
The Constitution says that the President of Burkina Faso may consult the people on all issues of national interest. Why would we want to prevent the president to do so? We cannot prevent the citizen to be free in this country. My concern today is not to build a future for myself, but to see how the future of this country will take shape. And I'm pleased to see that on the issue dividing the political class, there are opposition leaders who understand that what I'm doing is legal.
Ce que je pose comme acte est légal.
This was his posturing ahead of this particular day. He thinks it is something that needed to have been done in the first place. Now, we now know that he has done another broadcast on radio indicating that he's still in charge. This posturing, how can it further anger the people who are on the streets today? Doc.
Hello? Yeah, hello?
Yes, Dr. Opoku-Edu, that's a question to you.
Yeah, what is the question?
Dr. Edu, the question to you is this, that we've heard Bless Campari there. He maintains that, of course, this constitutional amendment should have taken place and it was necessary. Now, let's link that to his current posturing as per the broadcast, the national broadcast he did on radio, which Dr. Kena also mentioned moments ago. Now, this posturing, how is it going to help matters, really?
Well, the youth are not ready.
No, Dr. Kena also. Dr. Kena also.
In fact, they are on the edge at the moment, and they are ready to take action, and they are actually pressing to go to the presidential palace as to what giving a populist justice. But I think what's important is that everybody has to exercise restraint, as I've said.
Okay, Doc, I want you to hold on. Let me bring in Dr. Opoku-Edu. Let's hear you on this, Dr. Opoku-Edu.
Yeah, well, I think that probably he's living, excuse my words, in a false paradise, because in the past he has been able to maintain power. I mean, since 1987, when he arrested and killed Sankara, he's been able to maintain power by recourse to two things. First, the general poverty and despondency of his people, and a political opposition that was in disarray. And this gave him that false sense of security, quite recently. So he thought that he could get away with whatever he wants. I think they've gotten to a point where the masses of the people of Burkina Faso are not ready to entertain any attempts by him to prolong his stay longer than 2015. Besides, he doesn't seem to be aware of the difficulties facing him now. Various reports coming from the BBC and some individual reports on social media indicate clearly that the people are not ready to give in. So I think he is doing these acts, desperate acts of a dying horse.
Okay.
His time is up.
Very well. Dr. Ahosu, do you also see it as such a desperate times for a dying horse?
There is nothing he can do now. There is another side of the story that is going on. The former minister, a retired general, is now in control of the situation. A lot of the followers of Blaise Compaoré have thrown in their lot with the opposition. And this general is actually negotiating with the army. So there is the probability that before tomorrow morning, this general may declare that the government of Blaise Compaoré is overthrown. We don't know how this will play out. The concern is that this is somebody who has served under Blaise Compaoré. And if this man should come and say that I have overthrown my former boss, people may see it sometimes as a cosmetic kind of change. I don't know how this will play out, but this is what the international community is watching very carefully, the role that the general is playing, moving between the military, the police, and the government.
Very well. I'm going to have to thank you very much, Dr. Ken Ahosu. He's with the Lagos Center for International Affairs and Diplomacy. We still have on the line Dr. Opoku-Edu, but shortly we'll go over to our borders, somewhere in the Upper East region, and of course our borders with the Burkina Faso, and we'll find out exactly what the situation is like over there. Are we seeing a trend where refugees or perhaps desperate residents of Burkina Faso are beginning to come into Ghana in the wake of the Ebola scare? What does it mean? Well, obviously, that's a question to ask. But Dr. Opoku-Edu, let me find out from you. We know, of course, the ECOWAS chair is President John Dramani Mahama. He's not in the country, but ECOWAS hasn't issued a statement yet. What do we expect to hear from President John Dramani Mahama? Hello, Dr. Edu. It appears we've lost Dr. Opoku-Edu. We'll try and raise him back on the line, but let me let you know that the African Union has issued a statement asking the government in Burkina Faso to listen to the people, and it has condemned the act that occurred today, though. But other issues that you obviously need to know is that the mass protests against the rule of Mr. Compaore have been continuing in the capital of Ouagadougou, and angry crowds had earlier set fire to Parliament and other government buildings, forcing MPs to abandon a vote aimed at allowing Mr. Compaore to seek re-election in 2015. Now, we have Dr. Opoku-Edu back on the line. Dr. Opoku-Edu, before you left us, I was only finding out from you, ECOWAS chair, President John Dramani Mahama, who is not in the country at this moment. As far as this trend in Burkina Faso is concerned, what really do we expect to hear from him? Hello, Doc.
Yeah, I can't speak on policy matters, and I don't expect, but then I believe that the president, as the chairman of ECOWAS, must play to the book. That is that what is written, that there should be no unconstitutional change of government. And that also means that no arbitrary change of the constitution. He must call on President Compaore at this moment that he should listen to his people, because sovereignty has largely been redefined as the will of the people and no more the will of the government. So I expect him to do the honorable thing and fall in line with converging norms of international relations.
Okay, very well. Thank you very much, Dr. Kena Hosu, for speaking to us. We're hoping to have raised on the line. That's not Dr. Opoku-Edu producers, that's Dr. Kena Hosu. Let's go back to the phone lines and speak to our Upper East Regional Correspondent, Albert Sore, and find out from him exactly what the situation is like at our borders. Albert, thank you very much for joining us. Hello, Albert.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yes, Albert, what's happening currently within the Upper East region as far as what we've witnessed in Burkina Faso is concerned? Are we beginning to see potential refugees coming to our country already?
Well, I've done some checks at the immigration point and also at the port health unit at the Burkina Faso border at Paga, and nothing of the sort has happened yet. As a matter of fact, what they are saying is that today, only 2 buses came to the border. One of them came from Mali, the other one came from Niger. And so for now, they haven't seen any signs of Burkinabés trying to run into the country because of the situation there. Now, the other thing is that from the Burkinabe capital, Ouagadougou, to the Paga border is about 2 hours. And when they get to the border, the options they will have is to get into Navrongo, which is the next town from Paga, or to come further to Boga, which is about 30 minutes drive. So if they had started coming by bus, some of them should have been here by now. But for now, no sign of Burkinabés have been seen.
And what about Ghanaians within the Upper East region? How do they see the situation there? Are they worried? Even though we've not seen Burkinabés beginning to come into our country, are they worried about what the outcome might be in the wake of the Ebola scare?
Yes, Ouagadougou is also a very good place of business for most people who are in the Upper East region. There are people who travel there to buy motorbikes and then to come into the Upper East region and sell. Others also go there to do all kinds of businesses. And so for them, it's something of worry to them because of the disturbances. It means that their businesses will be affected. Others think that the borders have to be strengthened because if people are going to troop in, then we need to be on guard so people don't come in with Ebola and any other problems like that.
Okay, many thanks, Albert Sore, for giving us that update. Certainly keep an eye on the situation there. We obviously will come to you in the subsequent broadcast, but that's our correspondent in the Upper East region, Albert. Sorry. We've also been trying to speak to the Foreign Affairs Ministry, and it's been difficult. We wanted to know exactly what Ghana's stance really is on this particular matter. The story obviously continues, and that's it for today's big story. Up next is the interactive segment.